Paranormal Andy and Phantom Dark Dave. The Screaming Skull Podcast.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to a brand new episode of the Screaming Skull Podcast. We are your host. I'm Phantom Dark Dave.
And I'm Abnormal Andy.
And we're coming off the cusp of a pretty cool episode, man. We did Maniac, and we had Corin join us. His first time on the show. He runs sitflix.net. And my dude, I heard some good things. People like that episode.
Oh, really? That's great.
Yeah, I listened to it, and I told myself it was awesome.
There you go. You're your own best friend, I guess.
Yeah. What... Sadder things have been said, but you're not far from the truth there, man. But no, I did. I hit up Corin, and he was letting me know he checked it out, and he told a few of his buddies about it, and they checked it out, and they said they really liked it. So hopefully we're growing the show a little bit, but if nothing else, our normal listeners did reach out, and I heard people liked it, and I think we turned some people onto the movie. I think there's some folks who checked out the episode, hadn't seen the movie, and now they're going to go watch the movie. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, yeah, on paper, it like for me, even like on paper, I'm like, that wasn't too crazy to watch it. But once I watched it, it wasn't bad. It's
good.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Kind of like the movie today. Not bad. Good.
Yeah.
Maybe so bad it's good, but still same thing, right?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah.
But, since we had a guest last time, we didn't get to talk some horror news. So you want to dive in and see what's going on in the world of horror?
Yeah, let's do it.
Horror news.
All right, let's talk about some movies that are playing in theater. Andy, we both just recently saw one, not together, but I guess we were both excited enough that this is one of the few movies we both went pretty close to opening weekend to see, and that is Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yeah. Like I've seen most of the Jurassic Park or / World movies in the theater, I think.
But I haven't, so it was really weird that I was all motivated to do this, and I didn't know that you were a fan enough to see so many of them in theater. So when I heard you were going to see it, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome, because I'm going with Julie to see it the day after you.
Yeah, and it was like the theater experience wasn't that great, but the movie itself was pretty good.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, because I had a good theater experience.
Yeah, like the AC wasn't working very well, and they had 4 drink stations, and it's one of those ones where it's like
it's like Coca-Cola Freestyle.
Yeah, the freestyle thing.
Yeah.
They had 4 of them, but only one was really working, halfway working.
There's just something going on in Missouri, man. I don't know what to tell you. That's weird.
Yeah, and so that was kind of a headache. But yeah, I mean, the movie was great. It was a lot of fun, a lot of action.
Was it AMC?
Yeah, it was an AMC. Yep.
Oh man, can't believe they let you down like that.
So yeah, and maybe it was just an off day because usually everything's fine there.
Yeah, it has to be at least one of those experiences, right?
Yeah.
Well, man, Jurassic World Rebirth had a budget of about 180 million, and it's already grossed worldwide over 320 million. So made its profit. They say, a movie doesn't really make that much until it does a time and a half. And well, there you go. So doing that in just under 2 weeks is pretty incredible. And, I've seen both sides. Some people like it. Some people are like, cash grab. I didn't like it. But, this is kind of crazy for me because I'm not a diehard Jurassic Park fan, or at least I wasn't. And, we had the 4th of July weekend and everything, and Julie spent the whole day, her and I, from 9 a.m. till just a little after midnight, and we watched all 6 available Jurassic Park / World movies in a row chronologically. And, I had seen some of these before, but not in forever. So watched them all, and then the next day saw this in theater. So a lot of stuff was like really fresh in my mind. And I gotta say, man, I know you and I kind of talk behind the scenes. We like ranked our favorites in order and everything, but I was pretty blown away because I felt like Jurassic World Rebirth was like written for me. There was some stuff that I just loved to see in movies, and it just kept happening nonstop.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of callbacks to like older movies and stuff. Not even Jurassic Park movies, but I feel like just other action older movies or whatever. But so it was cool. It's cool to see that kind of like different style too. And I think this one was actually filmed in film, on film. So
Right.
it kind of had that on film look to it. So that was cool.
Dude, I'm
And
not going to give no spoilers, but it was literally like watching a movie that a third of it was Jaws, a third of it was like Anaconda, and then the last part was kind of I guess your typical Resident Evil. We'll say that, but the combination of
Mhm.
those things just made for such an exciting experience. Like I'll say for anybody that's a diehard Jurassic Park fan, you're going to see it anyway. You don't need me to tell you to watch it or not. But for anybody that's kind of like maybe not so into Jurassic Park and they could like take it or leave it, this might be one you go ahead and try out because it, being that it's kind of different from what the series has done so much of, it's kind of refreshing. And it, Julie liked it, but I loved it. So there you go.
Yeah, cool.
And it made its money. So how about you, man?
Yeah, so I saw a cool news story. So we're both big Friday the 13th fans, right?
Yeah, ever since I was
So
13.
yeah. There's a TV show called Crystal Lake. I think that's what it's called. And it's going to be based on, Camp Crystal Lake. It's going to be kind of taking us back to the beginning, so to speak. And so we're going to see Pamela Voorhees like back in the, I think this is kind of like going to be like a prequel type thing. But anyway, the actress that's going to be playing Pamela Voorhees is Linda Cardinelli. If you see her, you probably recognize her. She's been in a lot of different stuff. Um,
Yeah, Grandma's boy.
yeah.
Curse of La Llorona.
So I guess there's this whole Jason universe thing now that they've got going. Now that the court case is over with, and these people that are behind the Jason universe, they have attained some rights to the Mass Jason and stuff like that. So in this one, actually, our buddy Victor Miller is actually co-producing the TV series, so that's pretty cool.
Our buddy, he's talked to us once.
Yeah.
Well, good for him. I'm
Um,
glad he's associated. Make that money.
But yeah, so there was like a social media account. I think it was a podcast. They posted some pictures from the set. They posted a picture of Linda Cardinelli, as Pamela Voorhees. They posted a picture of like one of the cabins and like some of the pictures around the campground. So it's going to be like it's going to be set, back in the 50s or 60s or whatever, whenever probably whenever Jason drowned. So it's probably going to lead up to when Jason drowned. So that's kind of interesting.
I wonder if that's going to be just how the show starts or if that's like the main focus of the show. Because with Victor Miller, the character of Jason really wasn't, I mean, it was more of storyline, right? It focused on Pamela Voorhees and things that she dealt with. And so you could kind of skate around the legalities that they dealt with of Friday the 13th versus Jason and those things there. So I'm wondering how much of that's going to be set back then, especially if they're investing so much into the set design and everything.
Yeah, and this is also an A24 movie or series, so that's interesting.
No kidding. Oh
Yeah,
man, I've never seen one of their TV shows.
me neither.
If
So,
they've done one, they may have. I don't know.
so yeah, just some little glimpses into that production there. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's at least off the ground and they're making it, so that's good.
I know we've been over a decade with no Jason, man.
Yeah, yeah, they got to get something going there.
All right, let's talk about another movie in theaters. Andy, we were talking about, we were excited it's coming out, but I don't think either one of us, well, I know I haven't seen it, but I don't think you've seen it yet. We also had the premiere 28 years later.
Oh yeah, I've not seen that yet. I've heard a lot of negative stuff about it actually.
Really? Well, I know one thing that kind of made me apprehensive is I know that there's another one coming out towards the beginning of next year. And last thing I want to do is get caught up in a to be continued or half story type deal. So I'll probably wait for it to stream. But a movie's got a budget of 60 million over, gross worldwide. It's already done over 125, so it's doubled its budget. A Danny Boyle zombie movie is gonna do that. But coming off of 28 days later was such an impactful and kind of original take on the zombie thing. It's only, can they do it again? You know what I mean? Like, can it have the same impact today that it had 20 something years ago?
Yeah, and it sounds like in this movie they're expanding on kind of the lore behind the zombies and stuff, which is pretty cool, I think. So I'm excited to see it. I have a feeling I'm probably gonna like it. Usually, whenever there's movies that come out that people hate, I usually like them. So I don't know. Um,
I got
yeah.
a question for you.
All right, what's that?
So, like, zombie movies are generally good, right? Like, even bad zombie movies are you're just okay with them. But Is there a zombie movie that you just absolutely don't like?
I don't know. Some of the later Return of the Living Dead sequels are kind of like I'm kind of like whatever on. I could take or leave.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I like Night of the Living Dead, like the original and the Tom Savini remake. Those are probably
Yep.
like the top for me. And oh crap, Day of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, they're
Oh,
pretty
sure.
good too.
Well, what about like some of the later ones, like Diary of the Dead, Survival of the Dead, Land of the Dead?
I have not seen those yet.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so
Well,
I'm not really
we'll
sure. I
talk about
can't.
that. I want to get into those at some point. We're,
Okay.
we're we're having a great time with slashers, and I don't. To be honest with you, you and I could just spend the entire rest of the podcast doing 80 slashers, and I'd be fucking 100% great with it. But if we did stick our toes in the water of other little subgenres again, zombies would be one I'd suggest.
Yeah, for sure. I'm open to whatever uncharted territory we got here in front of us. And yeah, so I mean, the universe of 28 Days Later is interesting, I think. They created something pretty special there. They kind of reinvented I feel like the zombie genre,
Yeah,
back whenever
zombies that haul ass.
back whenever the first movie came out. And now there's been a lot of movies that have taken that template and put their own spin on it or whatever. But yeah, so I'm excited to watch this third movie. I've seen some of I've seen the trailer a few times, so I kind of seen some of the set pieces and stuff. It looks really interesting.
Okay, cool.
So, I've told you about Hell House LLC, that whole series, right?
You tell me like almost every episode.
Yeah. So that one is a found footage series, and unlike Horror in the High Desert, I think you might actually like this one. Um,
We'll
but
see.
this one though they're going to be putting out a fifth movie because there's been four out already. So there's a fifth movie coming out, but the fifth movie is not going to be found footage. It's going to be just your standard uh movie, which has some fans kind of not too happy because the whole found footage angle of it was kind of the
There's some purists out there, they
yeah.
don't want changes.
So, but this new movie is going to be more for a traditional movie, and it's also going to get a wide theatrical release, which is really cool.
Is
Uh,
it from any of the creative minds that done some of the other movies?
no, well, so Stephen Cognetti, he's a writer and director. He's done like one other movie called oh, it's on Shudder. It's like 825 Forest Road, something like that. It's like another
Okay.
ghost type movie, but I think that's a traditional movie too. I don't think that is
I
found
think there
footage.
lies your problem, man. You got a franchise that's got several installments and it has a certain niche or technique that it does. And then you're going to go and change everything at the end. And I can see it being okay if like Hell House LLC, like if like some of the original people came back to do it one more time and then they were going really big with this, I could see somebody being okay with that. But at some point, you're kind of like whipping a dead horse, right?
Yeah, well they've done a pretty good job of expanding the story and like uh because in the first movie you didn't really know much about the lore or the mythology, but they've really expanded on that, especially in the first three movies, and then the fourth movie kind of takes it from a different perspective, but it still kind of expands. And then this fifth movie, I don't know if I'm not really sure what direction it's going to take, but I guess anyway. So some news about that, like people are wanting to know, okay, when's this fifth movie coming out? Well, iHorror.com has a exclusive clip from the movie, so you can go on there and check it out. I watched it; it's pretty cool. I could go through the plot, but if you haven't watched any of the movies up to this point, it's like the basic general plot of the first movie is these people that run a haunted house company. Uh, they decide to take their act to kind of like outside of New York City. They go to like this kind of rundown place in Abaddon, New York, and decide, hey, this is going to be the perfect place for us to set up our new haunted attraction. And the opening night of the haunted attraction, things go crazy. I'll just leave it at that. And then so the first movie is kind of recounting what happened, what led up to the opening night, and it kind of tries to shed some light on what may have happened. Of course, they kind of show you what happens, but it doesn't really give you a whole lot of answers. So that's when we get Hell House 2 and 3. and even 4 to some extent. So, yeah, yeah, definitely check it out if that sounds interesting. If you guys like movies like The House is October Built, where they kind of focus on haunted attractions and stuff, this is in that vein, but it's basically just focused on one haunted attraction, and the haunted house itself is not super like uh it's pretty amateurish, I want to say. Like, yeah, if you're just walking through, you're like, okay, this is not. But the things that go on, the supernatural things that go on, just push it over the edge. And, so for me, I love it. So definitely, all you guys out there that are into found footage, check it out. And I'm excited for this new movie to come out.
Did they say this new one, is it like stepping into pre-production, or is it already something they have been working on?
Yeah, they've been filming it. So I
Oh,
don't know if
cool.
I don't know if they're totally done filming, but they at least have enough to where they were able to release like this clip from it. They have a trailer filmed and all that stuff. So
Nice.
I
So
have a
maybe
feeling.
later this year or sometime next year.
Oh, okay. So tickets are going on sale July 9th. So they're already on
Never
sale.
mind.
So I feel like this movie.
That's probably going to be like a limited release
Oh,
then,
here we
because I
go.
haven't heard
Okay.
anything about it.
It's in theaters August 20th. There you go.
There you go. And you're going to go
So
see it.
we'll see if they're coming to a theater near me. I don't know. We'll see.
As long as there's AC working.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy, another movie that came out recently was Megan 2.0. Did you ever see the first one?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Okay. Man, that's such an interesting movie. A lot of people saw it when it came out. It built some pretty big popularity, and people who are fans of Child's Play and Dolls and Puppet Master and all that. Like, you got your core fans, but this is AI technology. This is just a whole new ball game. But James Wan's behind it, Blumhouse. There's definitely money invested in it. It's a big project, and when I saw the first Megan, my thought process was that was all right. Like, I didn't regret watching it. It was a good hour and a half, 2 hours spent, no big deal. But that warranted a sequel for them. And first one made so much money, they're going to try round two. And I'd say it's pretty much on par right now. It's not doing as good as the first one probably did, but a budget of 25 million and worldwide gross right now of over 30 million. So I mean,
Oh,
typical
wow.
sequel fare for some of those. But if you've seen the trailer, it looks like it's got this like Terminator 2 vibe to it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think some people are saying it's more action than
That's what it looks
horror.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Where the
yeah, I
first one
mean,
was a blend of like horror and comedy. This one definitely
yeah.
does comedy, but a lot of action.
Yeah, this one definitely I feel like has more maybe a comedy. I could see that
It's
being a
kind of more
big
like a
playing a bigger.
popcorn movie rather than a
Yeah, for sure.
okay. But I mean, who's going to complain about the amount of horror in theaters? I'm not. Let's just keep pumping them out. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. And last thing for horror news, I want to tell you about just a couple of movies that have made its way to your home, dude. Because not everybody goes to the theater, but you can bring the theater home. We got all the digital stuff going on, but some of us still collect our physical format. And so, Sinners getting a 4K steelbook. About time. I still haven't
All
seen
right.
it.
Yeah.
I'm in the minority there. In a Violent Nature is getting a 4K steelbook. I still haven't seen it, but I want to. Speaking of
I
found footage,
yeah, I just saw it last week. It's pretty good.
it's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah.
And one that I did see, Abigail is getting a 4K release. Did you ever see that one?
Trying to think.
Vampire Ballerina
Oh,
Girl.
no, I've not seen that movie yet.
Okay. Another one of those. It's like, okay, it was worth the time spent, but
Yeah.
trailer kind of killed some of the surprises in that, and so
Oh,
did I
yeah.
just now. So fuck it. But no, that's some stuff that's on physical release. So for all you collectors out there, there's some stuff to get. But that's enough of horror news, Andy. I think it's time we get to our main event.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
The main event.
Warning. What you will see in the movie Pieces cannot be revealed, cannot be described, cannot even be imagined. And you don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre. Pieces. It's exactly what you think it is. Pieces. Absolutely no one under 17 will be admitted.
All right, Andy, the reason everybody's here, we're talking about a cult classic. We're still sticking with the slashers, but my God, we finally get to do some chainsaws. We're talking about Pieces from 1982. What's your history with this movie?
Yeah, this movie, it was I was first introduced to it by Mill Creek of all places. It was actually in one of those, wait, was it? Yeah, it was in one of those like 50 movie packs.
This seems too good to be in that.
I know, and so it's funny. So I watched it in that, and I loved it. It's great. This is like for somebody that's never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I feel like this is the movie they're expecting. Not
Ain't that
what,
the truth?
yeah, not what the movie, not what the actual Texas Chainsaw Massacre actually is. So yeah, this movie has a lot going for it. It's got a lot of chainsaw action, a lot of everything. I
Well,
mean,
let's call it what it is, and I like that they say that too on the cover. They're like, it's exactly what you think it is.
yeah,
It is people getting chainsawed. It is a Jalo film, my dude, which is why I also love it.
that's right. Yeah, I really felt that too. I really got that vibe from it. And it was filmed in Spain. It was supposed to be set in Boston, but I think it was filmed in Spain, and there's a lot of overdubbing, so you kind of got that Italian horror feel to it. And there's just a lot of the set pieces, the
Our
killer.
killer, you see the black gloves.
Yeah.
It's all there. And even the story so much just kind of plays out like a Jalo film, which again checks all the boxes for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you got the killer and he's got a weird kind of motive and it
The
springs from
aesthetics
some.
of the killer looks like the Shadow, like some Alec Baldwin action.
That's right. Yeah, he's got the trench coat, he's got the hat. You can't really see his face very
Have you ever
well.
seen those signs where it's like the neighborhood watch and it's got it's this
Yeah.
it's like this yeah
It is.
same
It's just
thing.
like that. Yep, yep. But yeah, and it's got just like mortuary, we have a little mortuary reunion going on here. We've got Christopher George and Linda Day George in this movie. So that was
I
pretty
feel like the
cool.
more they can show up, just the better it's going to be. Because so far, I've liked every time that this duo has popped up in a movie.
But yeah, I guess they were not too happy with the finished product. Those I think they only signed up to be in the movie because they thought it was going to be a murder mystery. And when they found out it was like more of like a slasher splatter kind of movie, they weren't too happy with that. So that's why instead of on the credits, instead of Susan Day George, it just says Susan Day because she didn't really want her name attached to it.
Wow. Well, that's unfortunate because this movie rocks. What's
Yeah.
she smoking?
I,
I
yeah,
mean,
I think maybe she
what
got
other
kicked.
movies were they in at the time? They were all pretty much this kind of movie, man.
Right, right. And yeah, so I it's been a while since I've seen this one. I saw it the first time back in the, like 20 years ago. And then, I saw it was on Tubi and I was like, "Hey, let's do this movie for the next podcast." And you're like, "Yeah, man, you were like 100% on board." Like
Well,
I
this was
think
one that I was going to bring to the table at some
okay.
point. So the fact that it was one of your spots just made me ultra excited because that means I get to choose something else, but we get to talk about something I already love. And I feel
Yeah.
like this goes perfect with our last episode, Maniac, because these are both like batshit crazy horror movies.
Yeah. So I rewatched it for this podcast and so I was really uh I didn't remember I'd forgotten a lot of stuff about the movie, especially like for some reason I was thinking, oh, there's only like one or two kills that are with a chainsaw, but no, it's like this guy has a chainsaw in every scene. So I'm like, okay,
I think
uh,
every kill but one.
yeah,
Well, two if you want to get technical, but that's why we're here. We're about to get technical. Well, let's run through some of this stuff. I will say right up front, this is a slasher, but this is also a murder mystery slash Jalo film. So if you've never seen the movie, this is gonna kind of ruin it for you. So I do recommend that you watch it first because some of the shit you have to see to believe. But if nothing else, we're gonna reveal who the killer is because it's a whodunit. And so there's your warning. If you want to see it first, it's on Tubi. Otherwise, if you've never seen it and you're like, I just want to hear you talk about it, by the time this episode's over, you're either going to really want to see it or you're going to be so glad that we spared you from seeing some of the horrific stuff that takes place in this movie. Andy, you ready to do this?
yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it, man. We open up in Boston, the year's 1942, and we see a little boy named Timmy sitting on the floor and he's doing a puzzle. And his mom walks in to check on him, and she is shocked to find out that this ain't no ordinary puzzle. Andy, what kind of puzzle is this?
This is like it's like I don't know, something out of Playboy or something like that. It's like a, pinup model or something. And so, and yeah, totally naked too. So,
Yeah, I mean, you had the same puzzle when you were a kid, right?
well, yeah, yeah, maybe.
So I don't know if this is his puzzle or if this is like his dad's puzzle, but the reason I'm
Oh,
bringing
yeah.
that up is because his mom busts in and she gets pissed. Like she is outraged at this, which I get any caring mother would be concerned. But no, she is not concerned. She is literally mad. She gets so mad that she throws the puzzle and she like takes a picture of the father and smashes it against the mirror, breaks the mirror. She tells her son, go get a bag so I can just burn everything. Like she is outraged. While he goes to get a bag, she starts digging through his room. She's like, I bet he's got more pornographic stuff, just like his father. And when he returns, he doesn't return with a bag. He returns with an axe. And my dude, he murders his mom. And this scene was fantastic.
It was, and this kid has way too much fun killing his mom, I think.
I
He,
mean, that
he,
kind of that sets up the movie that I think he natural born killer. Yes,
oh yeah, for sure. And especially, don't try to take away his naked women puzzles,
don't do it.
And
He didn't get to finish the puzzle. He was just trying to
oh,
see what it looked like.
well, I like after he killed his mom, he like, like saws her into pieces or whatever, and he goes back to doing the puzzle. He's like, he's like nothing happened.
He's sitting there and he's got blood on his face, blood all over the puzzle piece. He puts the puzzle piece in his mouth as he's like kind of contemplating where the piece should go. Like he is committed to finish that puzzle. But uh what is it, the nanny, I guess, that's coming over, somebody to check on the house, check on it, and she can't, she's like knocking on the door, no one's answering, so she goes and gets the cops. When he hears all this, he hides in the closet. The cops come upstairs with her. They open the door and they're obviously horrified. There's like blood everywhere. There's something has happened. There's like two closet doors. They open one of them and they find the mom's decapitated head in here, which is freaking sweet. And so they know what's happened, but then they can hear Timmy kind of making concerning sounds from the other door. They open it and he's crying. He's got blood all over himself. And he's like, oh, there's a big man. My mom, what happened? And my dude, this kid's a genius. He plays off like he didn't do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he plays a scared kid very well, and totally throws the cops off, and so they think that somebody came in like a home invasion and killed his mom. And so the social worker or whoever, the nanny, she says she'll take the kid to his nearest relative, and then that's it.
Yeah, and I think they're like, where's the father? And they say, well, he's in the military, he's overseas in Europe. And so, he's not a red herring. But yeah, the aunt lives an hour away. He's going to get dropped off of there. Boom, 40 years later. I'm like, oh, massive jump here. We see somebody dressed in all black. We don't know who it is. They're like opening a drawer. They remove a box. And inside the box, we have the clothes and the high heels that the mom had worn when she was murdered. And so I'm either this is the kid grown up, or the kid, whoever our killer is, it somehow has these things. But of course, the dress and the high heels, everything is all bloody. What did you think, man? We got another Norman Bates on our hands, maybe.
Yeah, definitely somebody with the mother complex. I mean, and I was reading, or I watched a YouTube video on this, Red Meat, doing the killer count. And he said that there's a scene where a girl is like roller skating down the road and she like crashes into a mirror. And he was saying that that is supposed to kind of trigger the killer to like take out the puzzle.
Well, yeah, that's
And
the next scene that happens.
yeah, as I wasn't so I couldn't remember the if this scene happened first or the girl roller skating down the road happened. So, but yeah, so definitely has some issues there, especially keeping his mom's clothes after all that time.
Right. And so since you've already kind of dropped the ball, let's talk about it, man. Like we see just this, and that's what this movie does is it injects very small clips of this same apartment of a killer dressed in all black doing the puzzle, caressing the mom's clothes or whatever, because we're led to believe that, okay, the boy's obviously grown up, is going to be the killer throughout this movie, but we don't know who that boy grew up to be. And that's going to be the fun of the Whodunnit, is which one of these guys is the killer. But this scene is insane. So yes, we see we're on college campus now. This is where we're going to spend the majority of the movie. There's a college student, and she is skateboarding. She's waving at everybody. First, do you know how to skateboard? Did you ever own a skateboard?
Not really, no.
Yeah, me neither. I was more of a rollerblade guy. But there is a truck that pulls up, and it's like a glass and mirror company. And so this is definitely a plot device for them to pull out that large glass mirror. And it's funny, she's like skateboarding and she's doing amazing things, but she cannot stop. That's the funniest part, is like, I'm led to believe that she's a good skateboarder, so this is clearly just for her to crash through this mirror. And when she does, it flashes back to the beginning when the mom had smashed the mirror, thereby confirming what you said and what that website had said, is that this was just supposed to kind of activate our killer and set him on the spree again.
Yeah, it was a little confusing though, because then, you think that, well, maybe she got hurt in that accident, but then like just a minute later she's out in the schoolyard studying or whatever, and she's actually the first victim
She
of the
is.
kill.
And
Yeah.
so, it could go one of two ways. One, that could just be the way the script goes, or two, maybe, that scene wasn't even there and it just starts off with the killer with the chainsaw that I'm about to describe. And maybe they're like, oh, we need to show some kind of reason that this set off, and they just filmed that scene. It logically makes no sense, but it's pretty funny that it's in the movie, and it's probably one of the three funny things that happen. But yeah, man, we're at the college campus. Skateboarder survived. She's laying in the grass. She's studying. We hear somebody with a chainsaw. She turns around and there's a dude in the tree. And she's like, "How long are you gonna be?" And she's disturbed. She's trying to study. And he's like, "Oh, just a few more minutes, miss." And she's like, "Okay." She go back to studying. And then our killer, I guess, jumps down out of the tree, walks up to her. She screams, and then the killer chainsaws her head off, and her neck becomes a geyser of blood. Pretty freaking sweet.
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely got to appreciate these special effects.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about this movie, is you do get some like off-screen kills, but then it shows the amazing aftermath, and then the kills we do get to see are freaking phenomenal. And so
Yeah.
it's time to start meeting some characters. We're in the dean's office. We get to meet Lieutenant Bracken, who's played by Christopher George, who, in my opinion, is doing like his best Humphrey Bogart 1950s detective. And we also get to meet Sergeant Holden, and of course the dean. So they're laying out some of the characters for us. But Andy, this scene's kind of funny too, because we cut over and they're in the hallway where some students are smoking pot, and we learn that the greatest thing in the world is smoking pot while fucking on a waterbed.
Yeah, I wonder if that was actually in the script, or if that was like the dubbed version of what they said or something.
Some ad lib, because come to find out, it is fucking amazing. But I say, what's most amazing is, why would a college have a waterbed to begin with?
Yeah, yeah. Do you ever had a water bed?
I never did growing up, but my aunt did. And so I remember like there's times where she was working or not home for the weekend or whatever. And so I've slept on a waterbed before, which is really funny because like modern day me, I don't fuck with water. So that's weird.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know if I'll, because I've seen too many like TV shows where they sprung a leak or whatever, and
Well,
yeah.
I've seen Nightmare on Elm Street 3 also.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I heard waterbeds actually for older folks, no good, like gives you back problems. So,
Yeah, I could see that.
we also get to meet Professor Brown in this scene. And what an interesting character, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like the kids kind of like are looking at him, kind of making fun of him, and I wasn't quite sure why. Like,
Because he's gay.
oh,
That's
okay,
literally, that's what
that's what.
they're, yeah. In the 80s, or that was the thing to do. If you're gay, ha ha. But
Yeah,
I think they try to even use that as like some reasoning, because we learned a little bit about Professor Brown, like, oh, he lives at home with his mom and all these things here. Like they're trying to set it up like, oh, he's gay, he must be a serial killer, right?
right. Yeah, they kind of single him out right away as one of the, yeah, as like a prime suspect.
For sure. And we get a handful of those. And, Professor Brown, he goes down to the dean's office and he talks with Grace, that's the secretary. And we find out that Willard, the groundskeeper, is the one who found the decapitated body. But guess what? The head was missing.
It was, and we see the killer take it, put in a little locker,
Yeah, the killer
puts
is
a
preserving pieces of the body parts, hence the title of the movie. But Professor Brown, he goes into the dean's office and he is giving the duty of showing the police around the campus. And we find out that Professor Brown is a teacher of comparative anatomy, which that's crazy. I didn't think they'd just single anatomy to one class. But I think what they're really doing is making Professor Brown a suspect, because we find out that the girl who was decapitated was one of his students.
Yeah, yeah, and kind of seeing like how he's kind of the outsider, and he knows a lot about human anatomy, so he has the expertise to kind of dissect people like with how they found their first victim.
For sure, man. And, we're just railing up the suspects here. And we're going to talk about another one. I mentioned the groundskeeper being the one that found the body. What a strange dude. He's always seen with his chainsaw, but he's cleaning it. And the dean starts questioning him. And he's like, so how long will you be working at this school?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, was this guy like a regular person that's been at the school, or is he like just somebody that's been here for like
I think
just
he's
for
like a contract laborer. Yeah.
yeah, so he's just here for like a short time or whatever to do something. And
The dude has
so
the most like insane, ominous look about him, too. I freaking
oh
love it.
yeah, he's like huge guy, and his eyes are kind of shifty. I don't know how you describe it, but yeah, he's definitely like somebody that you could see being a killer.
He's the guy
Uh
that played, was it the dude in Popeye?
oh, that's right.
Now we're in the library and we get to meet one of our main characters, Kendall, as he is passed a note by a girl who says that she wants to do it in the water. And so she's like, I'll see you in the pool. And she leaves the table. And I'm pretty sure I see him like mouth the words like 1 hour. So I guess he's planning to meet her at the swimming pool and do a little hanky panky. But then he turns and throws the note and completely misses the trash can, which normally wouldn't matter, except when you know it. Our killer, dressed in all black, is walking in the library, picks up the note, and plans for his next victim.
Yeah, he's gonna cut Kendall off at the pass, and he's gonna have a little date with his girlfriend instead, it sounds like.
That is, man. And so what he does is we get some jacks on the sax, and props to anybody who understands that reference. We get a scene where we see her and, she goes to the pool. She strips down and dives in. Our killer walks in and he grabs the pole used for the pool cleaning. And, it has a net on there. So he's able to drape it over her and start dragging her through the pool, which is a pretty cool scene. But he does it to get her close just so he can lift her up out of the pool. And he ignites his chainsaw and cuts her up. And pretty cool scene, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. I liked it. It seemed like it was awfully dark in this swimming pool. It was like there's like no lights or anything. I don't know what was going on with that, but
Well, because she was practically skinny dipping, that's a good thing.
yeah, and yeah. So it was a good scene. It was kind of like it seemed like the killer was like right there. Like she should have seen him well before he showed up, or well before like he was there. Because he was just this guy in a black trench coat, kind of lurking around, and uh, yeah.
Right. Obviously, yeah, she could see him, but for the purpose of the script, no, she can't. And, this scene's pretty cool because we don't see much of the like actual cutting with the chainsaw, but the cat and mouse stuff in this movie is really good. And they definitely build a lot of tension. And that's one thing that some movies, are really hurt by if they can't build the tension. But this one does a really good job. And, I want to talk about this scene too, because this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. Is back at the library, we get to meet a student named Myron, and he's looking for Kendall. And dude, he gives him a note, right? That's left at the dean's office. And I got to say, this guy could have been related to Napoleon Dynamite. His look, his speech, his delivery, like it was that close.
Yeah, he was. He did remind me of Napoleon somewhat. Yeah, he kind of.
I literally wrote the conversation down. You want to hear it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so paint the scene. So he shows up. This guy's got the big glasses, the curly hair, the button shirt. He's like, "Hey, Kendall, I've been looking all over. This is for you. It was left in the dean's office over half an hour ago. I've been looking all over. Where did you get to? Next time Grace wants something delivered, she could just forget it." And Kendall's like, "When did you get this?" And he goes, "I thought I told you half an hour ago." And Kendall goes, "Half an hour? What's going on?" And Myron's like, don't tell me I'm the bearer of bad news. I could just kill myself. And Kendall's like, no, it's all right. And he's like, good, I'm too young to die. And he just walks away.
Yeah.
And I rewinded it like 4 or 5 times because obviously I wanted to get the dialect down, but my dude, it had me rolling. I was like, who the fuck is Myron?
Yeah, I totally forgot about that whole scene.
It's played straight too, and that's I think what kills it the best.
We do get a little another scene with Myron later on, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, we do. And you know, this is interesting because we know that there was already a note saying meet me at the pool, and he's like, cool, an hour. Well, then all of a sudden another note gets delivered to him, and he's told that it was delivered half an hour ago, and it changes locations. And so I think we're led to believe that the killer wrote this note just so he wouldn't show up at the pool, so that way this girl could get chainsawed. But you know, this is the scene you kind of talked about. We see the killer walking around, and he's carrying that clear bloody bag, and he's storing it in a freezer, proving to us that he is reserving the parts that he wants to hold. But for what? Who knows?
Yeah, and then we also get a pool fight here. We get Kendall's kind of walking around the pool, and so is Willard. You know, he sees his chainsaw sitting there, so he goes to grab it, and there's like blood all over. He's like, "What the hell?" And then the police bust in, and then yeah, kind of have this little brawl here between the police and Willard, and uh, yeah. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of like a unintentionally funny scene, I feel like.
Willard could have taken them all single-handedly, no problem.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So they make the arrest, and after the arrest, we hear Sergeant Holden, and he's talking to Lieutenant Bracken, and he's like, "What do you think the killer's doing with all these missing pieces?" And Bracken says, "You know, the case creeps him out, and he wants to bring in undercover female officers because, you know, that's what the killer likes." And so Lieutenant Bracken also informs the dean of his plan to bring in the undercover cops, and he says he's going to have them pose as members of the school staff, so that way nothing looks too suspicious. And Bracken asks, he's like, okay, I want to interview Grace, which is the dean's secretary, and he wants to talk to Myron and Kendall, and that's where we find out about, you know, the letter being a diversion and everything. And I guess this is like the magic scene because I don't know what it is, but Lieutenant Bracken definitely confides in our main character and wants him to be undercover as well, which, okay, you just met him for 5 seconds, but yeah, let's just trust this high school kid.
Yeah, the detective really likes Kendall. I was surprised. You know, you know, most of the time, whenever like college kids are hanging around asking a lot of questions, the detective's like, "Beat it, kid," you know. But
Right.
this detective, he actually sees an opportunity and wants to use Kendall to help him figure out who the killer is. Because they even have Kendall go to the police station and talk to like a psychiatrist or psychologist, whatever, so they can build up a profile. Kind of like
Little Criminal Minds action.
yeah, that's what I was just gonna
it.
say. Yep. But yeah, it's an interesting relationship between the detective and Kendall.
It
For
makes
sure.
you wonder if like maybe he saw something like in Kendall that reminded him of a younger version of himself, because throughout this movie it does seem like Kendall is interested in the criminal justice system, but we both know they can't afford many undercover cops, and so he's just using his resources. That's really what it is.
Yeah, and you know, Kendall maybe old detective was a ladies' man when he was younger, because Kendall is definitely a ladies' man, as we see in this movie.
Kendall gets more tail than Captain Kirk, and that is saying a lot.
And he even like, yeah, later on in the movie, yeah, it's funny. Later on in the movie, we see like the scene that's just like, what is he doing? But anyway.
Yeah. Well, this next scene, we get to see our killer spying on some people doing aerobics, man. We got some aerobic dancers in this movie, and one of them leaves to go to the bathroom, and our killer follows. And dude, I gotta say, that bathroom is so far away. Did you see how many hallways that she had to go through and doors just to get to the damn restroom?
Yeah, and like all the lights are turned off. I'm like, where's she going to go to the bathroom? It's like all these different hallways and stuff, and then finally she finds the door opens up and it's like bright light comes out of the room, that the bathroom. So it's like, you know, there are some lights around here, but just not in the hallways, I guess.
And it kind of gives us one of our first jump scares in the movie too, because she gets to that bathroom door and she knows she's being chased, so she's continuously looking behind her. But when she reaches the bathroom door and it opens up, thank goodness it's just some other girl coming out of the bathroom. But it works. And dude, I know it's probably been a while since you've seen the movie I'm about to mention, but this whole chase scene and the aesthetics of the halls was giving me serious vibes of one of my favorite movies, He Knows You're Alone.
Oh yeah, for sure. I could see that.
And so, well, she's safe. for now. And we get to the scene where we meet Dr. Jennings, and that's whenever it's the psychiatrist and everything we learn about the profiling, what's going to happen. It's explained that Kendall might actually know the killer because they are convinced that the killer is somebody who spends a lot of time on campus.
Yeah, they don't know if it's a student or a professor or what, but yeah, it's they definitely believe that knows more than what he thinks.
They're like, Kendall's probably slept with the killer. Let's just interview him.
Yeah.
But this scene's cool, Andy, because we get to meet Mary Riggs, played by Lynda Day George, and she's a tennis champion who's also an undercover cop who's going to be posing as the university's tennis coach. And so Lieutenant Bracken, tells Kendall, keep your eyes open on her. And maybe he's like, because that's my wife in real life. We got to make sure she's okay. But he's recruiting Kendall, and then Andy, a reporter, shows up.
Yeah, I think her name's Sylvia or something like that. She
Yep.
shows up, starts asking a bunch of questions, and he kind of shoos her off, like,
Deny.
yeah, he doesn't want to tell her that there's a serial killer. He just like they want to kind of make this seem like it's an accident or something, or like that there's not a serial killer on campus.
Yeah, they don't want to spread worldwide panic or worldwide college panic anyway. But also, if you and I have learned anything from Criminal Minds, is you don't give the killer, don't build the story up, don't profile them, don't give them a name, because once you do that, like, it just enhances the negative experience of it. But my dude, next scene, we're on the tennis court, and this is a kind of a funny scene because we get to see our tennis coach, undercover cop, playing against, I guess, one of the top students in one of the most unbelievable tennis matches.
Yeah, it's like I guess they gave Lynda Day George like a crash course in tennis before they filmed this. So she wasn't a very good tennis player, and neither was the other girl either.
You weren't convinced, huh?
No.
Well, this scene also exists because it lets the reporter show up and kind of push on to what's going on and start to ask questions to the dean. And that's when the dean finds out that he's like, I thought there was going to be 2 undercover cops. And then they're like, oh, no, this is a volunteer job. So you just get me. And so, I mean, we're left with Lynda Day George playing this role. But it's important because we're probably going to see this tennis player once again. But our next scene is the killer removing that same box from the drawer. This is one of those pieced in scenes. Haha. And he's doing that puzzle, the nude woman. And I assume this is when I start thinking, okay, we're led to believe that every time that he kills a woman, the piece that he's doing the puzzle is kind of coinciding with it. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Whenever whatever piece he's adding to the body of the model, that's what he's going after for his next kill. Yeah. So at this point, he's got a head, he's got a torso. But you know what?
Time for some arms, Andy.
Yeah, he needs some arms. Yeah.
I can see you're getting curious. And so we're back at the aerobics class. And remember that dancer who got away earlier? Well, she's not going to get away this time. She finishes her routine. She gets dressed. She leaves, and our killer's hot on her trail. They get to an elevator. But this was kind of cool because you'd think she'd be like terrified, but she's not, because we don't see who the killer is, but she recognizes him.
She does, and it puts her at ease, I guess. But she still misses the chainsaw behind the guy's back too, because he walks into the freaking elevator with a chainsaw behind his back.
Yeah,
I'm like,
man,
this is like so silly.
It is, but it's also so awesome because this scene looked really good. I love the practical effects. We get to see her get her arms chainsawed off, and she falls down a bloody mess. And then, she's screaming, and Kendall and the cops are outside, and they can hear the screams. And so they try to get into the school. Obviously, it's locked. They don't have a key. Kendall sneaks in through the window. They call the lieutenant because they find her armless body. But this scene is interesting because the dean and everybody shows up, and we find out for a second that she's still alive, but Andy, not for long.
Yeah, I mean, she has no arms, so I guess she can only last for so long. But yeah, who is it? Some doctor that tells them that she didn't survive after all.
Yeah, we're given like 30 seconds of hope. They're like, she survived.
Yeah.
We'll be able to identify who the killer is, and then of course Lieutenant Bracken looks over at the doctor and he's like, "Tell me the good news, doc." And he's like, "I wish I had some. And, she's lost a lot of blood and she's like a 0 in 100 chance of living. I'm sorry." And he's like, "Damn."
Yeah.
But I love this shot, Andy, because this is when, we have the dean who's kind of walking up to the scene. We have Professor Brown who kind of walks downstairs, and everybody looks over and we see essentially all of our suspects standing in one shot. It's like, oh, one of these can be our killer.
Oh yeah, it's funny because they're all like standing in a group there, and it's like,
Dude,
yeah,
it looked like something out of Clue.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
Next is the moment everybody's waiting for. We get to see Kendall's wiener.
Oh yeah.
Thought it'd be bigger. Just kidding. Well, dude. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched this movie 4 times in preparation for this, and there's only one question I still have, and maybe you can help me. In this scene, Kendall is banging a girl in his bed, and he gets up and he looks out the window. He sees Mary walking around, and so he's like, "I need to go downstairs and see what's going on," because he's supposed to keep an eye on her. But this girl that he's banging, is this a new character or was this the reporter?
I don't think it was a reporter. I think it was. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it's just a college girl.
Okay, these are the only 2 that threw me, and I was like, shit, I couldn't tell if it was the same person or not, but we'll say it's not just for the sake of it. So he gets dressed and he goes downstairs, and I don't know about you, but this has to be the best scene in this damn movie just because of the what the fuck is going on. But let's paint the picture. Mary's walking. We hear footsteps behind her. We essentially think there's even chainsaw sounds. She turns the corner, and it's not the killer. It's a Bruce Lee impersonator. My dude, this guy's doing kung fu.
Yeah, they had this impromptu kung fu scene. It's so funny. And this guy just comes out of nowhere, kicks the flashlight out of her hand, and starts trying to attack her or something. And she defends herself, and then Kendall runs up and he kind of diffuses the situation. He's like, "Oh, this is my kung fu professor." You're like, "What the hell? Where did this come from?" So I heard the story behind this. I guess there's a Bruce Lee impersonator, and
It's
his
Bruce
name
Lee
is
with 1 E.
yeah, Bruce Lee with 1 E, yeah. And so I guess this guy just he knew one of the producers, and I guess they let him be in the movie. Oh, they were trying to pad out the runtime, I think, and so
Sure.
they needed just like another
However long it gave him, right? Of another few minutes. But this scene was funny to me because we hear like a chainsaw, and so she gets worried. This mysterious guy is laying on the ground because she managed to hit him in the nuts and he fell down. And we assume the killer's coming with the chainsaw, but it's actually Kendall on a dirt bike. And she's like, "You need to get rid of that dirt bike. It sounds like a chainsaw."
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
next scene, pretty awesome. We get the reporter who's snooping around outside. She finds an unlocked door to the school. She goes in and she finds the room where the waterbed's located. And so this is cool because we heard about it, but now we're going to see it. Well, Andy, this is one of the few times where our killer ditches a chainsaw and whips out a knife. And if I'm not speaking too crazy here, he uses it viciously.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah, talking about doing stuff on a waterbed. Well, she gets killed. She gets stabbed several times on a waterbed.
You can say it. She gets fucked.
Yeah. And even that last stab right through the head, that was pretty crazy. This definitely reminded me of like a giallo kill right here, I think.
For sure.
The knife, get stabbed in the water bed is just kind of
slow
weird.
Motion kill.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
so
really
aesthetically pleasing. The blood in the water, like it was very well done. I love the way it was filmed.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when the rubber knife like bent.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the scene, I try to get it out of my head because they exit pretty quick. But if you're paying attention, damn, it's funny. But great kill, and it's even like cherry on top because after she's murdered, the killer grabs her by the ankles and then pulls her off the bed, and you see her just kind of flow through the bloody water. Pretty neat looking.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So Kendall walks Mary back to her apartment and he attempts to let himself in. He's just like, "Wait a minute, aren't you making coffee?" And yeah, she's like, "Maybe some other time, thanks." And so she closes the door, and what the hell is happening? Myron shows up in a mask, and then he pulls his mask off. He's like, boogie boogie, like, I gotcha. He blows, and he's like, Casanova, and then runs away. Like,
Yeah.
what is happening? Are they really padding runtime with this type of shit? I think so.
Yeah, a little prank there. Yeah, was Myron spying on him? I guess so. I don't know.
Oh, he's a red herring. Look, he's wearing a mask. Could he be
Oh,
the killer?
yep, that's true.
We're back in the room where our killer so often returns, and he's adding more body parts to his freezer. So count it up. We got the head, we got the torso, we got the arms. I guess all we need now are some knees and feet. And so we're back over at the tennis court. Susie, the girl who was playing our coach earlier, is still practicing, but then we start hearing some like band music playing through the speakers, and you know what I'm talking about. Dun 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 dun. But it's loud, it's obnoxious, or our killer's using it so we won't hear her get murdered. And so this irritates her to an extent where she stops practicing. She's going to hit the showers. She runs to the shower. She's attempting to get dressed, but then our killer shows up and chases her back to the shower she came from, in a pretty great cat and mouse scene. Like I said, this movie has quite a few of them, but let's talk about this scene, Andy, because it terrifies her so much that she pees herself.
They zero right in on that, and we see her pants, and I guess it might have been a real incident, not quite sure. But yeah. And this was pretty gory. This scene was with the chainsaw cutting her in her midsection, and I saw that they had used a pig body,
Carcass.
yeah, and a pair of jeans to make it look like her waist was getting cut. So that's pretty good effects. And then like whenever they discover the body, well, see, and that's the thing. So like Mary and Kendall and Willard, they're all there at the college, like at the whatever, the tennis court, wherever the music is playing. They're trying to figure out how to shut off the music because it's so loud and it draws their attention. So while they're walking around trying to shut off the music, that's when the killer is having his fun with the tennis girl.
Yeah, and the whole time they're trying to shut off the music, they finally are able to do that in a weird scene, because it's kind of like, this only works with a key. You have to have a key to do it. And so I'm like, oh, someone has a key to this. Okay, is Willard playing us for a fool? But when they find Susie dead in the shower, obviously parts of her are missing, but Willard in the background, I don't know if you notice, he runs away. And so I'm like, oh, Willard, were you fleeing the scene, buddy? That never looks so good. But Lieutenant Bracken calls Sergeant Holden to see what the leads are, and I guess we decide that Holden needs some more help, so he sends Kendall over to help him.
Yeah, and this next scene is sponsored by Wendy's.
Dude, back when Wendy's had the cool aesthetics of the yellow instead of the stuff they do nowadays. But if I'm being honest, it made me want some Wendy's.
Oh yeah, so for sure.
It worked out.
Man, like the burgers back then, they were just better. It was like they were like these little smash patties, and they're super greasy, and oh man, they were awesome.
Yeah, and they still promote, fresh, never frozen.
Yeah.
Remember when Wendy's used to have like the square patties? I bet they're not square no more.
Right. Yeah.
Probably what you're talking about. Yeah. Damn. This podcast is not sponsored by Wendy's, but I know two motherfuckers are probably going to go have Wendy's when it's over. Andy, we talk about how the killer collects things. Well, we see him trying his dead mother's high heels on one of the victims. And if we didn't say it earlier, the victim who was stabbed in the water bag is kind of operating as like the torso and legs area. And he goes to put the high heels on what essentially could be, I guess, the knees and legs of the tennis player, but they don't fucking fit. And so now I'm thinking, okay, we need one more victim to get the feet.
Yeah, he's like, damn it, now I gotta get some feet. He thought that he had the whole bottom half taken care of with those legs, but nope. We can't forget about the scene with Lynda Day George, and it kind of reminds me of Julie James and I Know What You Did Last Summer. What are you waiting for, huh?
Bastard!
She's like, bastard.
We get three of them things, and she's trying to win an Emmy.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was great.
For all we know, it was probably the moment she found out the kind of movie she was filming. Bastard! It tricked me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought her up, because they do a scene where earlier in the movie, they had found out like she wanted to go talk to the dean about some stuff, and Kendall was like, well, he's not going to be in his office. It's this time. He usually goes and visits Arlington, and so you'll have to catch him at his apartment. And so, Andy, I thought this was a pretty clever scene because right when we see that the high heels don't fit the killer's feet, it pans over on Lynda George, and the first thing that the camera does is it zooms up from her feet.
Oh, got a little Quentin Tarantino action going on there.
Yeah,
He likes feet too, I think.
A little smart. Hey, I like feet when socks and shoes are on them.
But
But
yeah, it's like the killer. Well, never mind. I won't say anymore.
don't say it. We're getting there. But that evening, Mary does go to the dean's apartment because she has her suspicions of Professor Brown. That's what things are leading up to. Like he's had a key. His he always shows up at the wrong time. So they want to kind of narrow down the search. The dean lets her into his apartment, and I gotta say, like this apartment, it's looking kind of familiar. Andy, have we seen this apartment before?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we've seen a puzzle in here before, I think.
Yeah, things aren't looking good for Mary. So he's like, "Oh, you're here." He looks very surprised to see her. He's like, "I'll make some coffee and maybe I'll add a little something, something in there that probably isn't going to be too good for Mary." And why this is happening, this is whenever Sergeant Holden and Kendall are enjoying the Wendy's and they're digging through police reports. And Kendall is the one who actually finds that a certain character has changed their name.
Yeah, I found out the dean had a little name change back, you know, when he was younger, I guess. Because he was Timmy when he was a kid.
Timmy.
Timmy. But now he is whatever his name is now. I forgot what his name
I
is.
think they discover that John Reston.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's interesting because the whole movie he's just been the dean, and it never stood out to me. Like it's never been weird. He's just the dean, like whatever, maybe because like dean is also a commonly like it can be a name too. So when you hear it, you just substitute it as a dean. See what I did? Substitute teacher, get it? Oh boy, it's getting late. Okay, here we go. So not only they find out that his name's been changed, but also a little trauma in his past. Apparently his mother was chopped up when he was a little boy, and so this red flags. Kendall's like, oh shit, Mary was going over to his apartment tonight. We need to head over there.
Yeah, and they don't get over there none too soon because in the meantime, while they're doing their investigation, Mary is having coffee laced with some kind of something and she starts to kind of feel it. She's sitting on the couch drinking her coffee and she's like, "Oh, I'm not feeling too good." And then that's when the dean kind of like uh
shows his playing cards, right? He
yeah,
reveals
shows
this
his
is the
hand.
scene where the bad guy tells us exactly what he's gonna do. He's like, he's eyeing those feet, takes her high heels off, but he's like, oh, we can't make a mess now, can we? He spreads out a tarp under her, and
Yeah.
we know he's got some experience with sawing off parts, and so she's about to lose her feet. But luckily, that's not the case because the lieutenant, the sergeant, and Kendall all show up to save the day. But when they go inside the apartment, it's just Mary on the couch crying. Where's the dean?
Yeah, he's hiding, and so then of course the detectives they go kind of looking for him or notifying the other people, and so Kendall's just left in the apartment with Mary, and Kendall's trying to help Mary, and Mary's looking over at the curtains where
Yes,
she's trying to
she can only
signal.
do so much.
Yeah, because she can't talk or anything. She can only move her eyes. She keeps looking over there, and the dean comes out and tries to attack Kendall, I think, and yeah, I mean he's getting ready to kill Kendall, I think. And then the police bust in and they shoot him.
Which would be really interesting because it makes you wonder, like, would he have used any of Kendall? Did he need any of Kendall's body parts? Obviously, he was going to kill him just because he's been had, but it makes you wonder where it would lead to. But we're not going to find out because luckily, our detective is a motherfucking like ace, boy. Because when he busts in the door, he is a crack shot. He's able with one shot just to shoot and hit the dean right between the eyes, man.
Yep.
And the dean falls back, bleeding out, dead. Saves the day. Kendall is consistently caressing Mary, trying to help her up. And, things seem all good. Our killer's dead. And, I'm stalling because this next scene is so freaking awesome. Andy, do you want to talk about it? What happens with Kendall?
Yeah, so at this point they don't know about the stitched together dead body. It's kind of like behind a panel. So they're helping Mary on her feet or whatever. They're kind of cordoning off the crime scene here. And then somebody leans up against the bookcase. I think it's the other
It's Holden, yeah.
The other detective, yeah. And it kind of spins around. It's like a hidden panel. Spins around and we see the body, this jigsaw body.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, and and it actually falls over on top of Kendall, and he's like freaking out, like, oh, and trying to get the body off him and stuff.
Were you
And
at like any point in the movie wondering if you were ever going to see this body? Because I was so entertained throughout of it. I'm not going to say I forgot that the killer was stashing body parts, but the kills were so good and the cat and mouse stuff was just done so well that I felt very satisfied up to this point with what we were given. And I literally thought this movie was wrapping up, but I'm so glad that the guy named Holden was able to spin around a wall that was holding up a dead body, Frankenstein of all these monstrous parts. And my dude, when it comes crashing out, it's a great jump scare.
it is, and then we kind of think, okay, it's all over with. Nope, not quite. This movie has another surprise for you.
Yeah, and movies love to do this. So, Kendall's sitting over in a chair. He's kind of composing himself, and then Holden talks to him, and he's like, "You okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm all right." And he's like, "All right, let's get out of here." And they go to leave, and Kendall's like still kind of double checking, looking at the body that's like under a tarp or something right now. And he's like, "Well, don't look too long. We'll be fine." And they go to walk around, and Kendall's like, "Oh, my jacket." And he goes to grab his jacket out on the floor. But my God, something else gets grabbed as Kendall reaches for his jacket. For no apparent reason, this Frankenstein body has life. And it reaches up and grabs his balls and squeezes them to the point where we see a bloody, blistering mess in his hands. And the movie ends with a freeze frame of Kendall screaming in agony. Andy, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, this is one of those classic what the fuck endings. Up to this point, we haven't had any like zombies or
No
anything like that.
supernatural.
Nothing supernatural, but now all of a sudden this footless piece to, oh, I guess she does probably still have feet because I don't think he cut off the feet yet.
Yeah, just no high heels.
Yeah, this jigsaw puzzle body comes to life, and yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, it's really kind of like a head scratcher ending, but it just adds, like, if you really think about it, it's par for the course. This movie is absurd, and so like it's got to have a crazy ending like that.
It does. And then, up until this time, movies are all about that one last ending to kind of just capture the emotions of everybody, throw everybody off. And I mean, obviously nobody expected this body to move. So, and my gosh, man, you don't do that to a man's private part, but especially Kendall, that guy just lost every meaning for him to live, because he was the guy sleeping around. So I don't know if there's a little hidden agenda with that, but I love a good freeze frame. So when this movie ends on that, I was not only dying laughing, I was applauding. And as mentioned, Andy, I watched this damn thing like 4 times in preparation for this podcast, and it just was great every single time.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun movie. I would say if people out there have not checked it out, I think for any horror fan that likes B movies, slasher movies, gore,
Giallo films,
giallo
definitely.
films, yeah, this is one I would definitely recommend to just about anyone that's like a horror movie fan. I mean, there's a
Absolutely.
lot of action. You're not going to get bored in this movie at all.
Hell no. I mean, there's a kill like every few minutes, it seems like. And like I said, the ones you see are awesome. The ones you don't see, the aftermath is awesome. And you might be able to call the killer from a mile away. But if you're spending so much time enjoying the movie and not thinking about it, I'd say it's pretty rewarding.
Yeah, and it's on Tubi, so that
No,
you can
no
see it for free.
excuses.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you picked this because this has been on my radar for a while. We finally got to do it. It was your pick, so we'll see what I choose for the next episode. But great choice. I hope people love the movie. Hope people love the episode, and I'm already ready to start prepping for the next episode. So, with that being said, you got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I'm just excited for the next episode and hope you guys out there enjoy this one.
Absolutely, man. So that does it for us, man. I'm Phantom Dark Dave,
And I'm Abnormal Andy.
and you've been listening to the Scream and Skull podcast.